Today is April 10th, 2023, Board of County Commissioners. And Commissioners, before we start with our meeting, we went into closed session for decisions to be made, and our attorney has a statement to make, and then I'll ask for a motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, everyone. So based upon our going into closed session to discuss very important matters related to the national opioid settlement, what was before the board was whether Durham County would participate in something that's commonly referred to as the SAAF, which is a supplemental agreement for additional funds from additional settlements of opioid litigation. And there was a decision made about that and 5 related participation agreements. Those participation agreements were with CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, and also with Allergen and Teva, who are manufacturers. So decisions were made on those different points to participate. And in addition, there was a decision to allow staff to be an authorized signatory or make the signature on those agreements that are necessary for Durham County's participation, and that there be a resolution entered to this effect. The resolution, because of the timing of things, is not published yet and before the general public, but it will be made so once the approval vote has been issued and it is conformed to what is there. So, Madam Chair, I would request that, having said that you put to the membership for public vote you all's agreement, as was stated about the SAFF participation and the 5 related agreements and the resolution.
Thank you, Attorney Andrews. So we need a motion for what he just said.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we authorize the staff to be a signatory on the behalf of our body in these 5 matters.
Okay, need a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Jacobs. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, passes unanimously. Okay, now do I need a motion to come out of closed session? We do not. Okay, great. So at this
Madam Chair.
point, Commissioners, I will read the public charge to get our meeting started. The Board of Commissioners.
Madam Chair, I'm so sorry. Could we actually be sure we come out on the record of closed session and then go into our open session if possible?
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you.
So if I can get a motion to come out of closed session?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we officially come out of closed session.
Thank you. A second.
Second.
It is moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. We are out of closed session, and we will begin our regular meeting by reading the public charge. The Board of Commissioners asks its members and citizens to conduct themselves in a respectful, courteous manner, both with the board and fellow citizens. At any time, should any member of the board or any citizen fail to observe this public charge, the chair will ask the offending person to leave the meeting until that individual regains personal control. Should the quorum fail to be restored, the chair will recess the meeting until such time that a genuine commitment to the public charge is observed. Okay, and we will stand for our Pledge of Allegiance. If Mr. Jacobs, if you will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Flag of the United States and to the republic one nation
Are there any adjustments, commissioners, to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on to our announcements, and we will have our clerk now read our announcements.
Good evening, everyone. I will read the announcements that are published in our agenda. They are also located on our website. DECO Department of Public Health COVID-19 vaccine hours. The COVID-19 vaccination clinic is open for your walk-in vaccination doses on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Closed 12 to 1 p.m. The clinic is closed on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and the weekend. For additional information, you can visit decopublichealth.org/COVID vaccines. Apply for summer internships, management internships, and fellowships with Durham County. Durham County government is looking for Durham County teenagers, college students, and recent graduates of our local universities to apply for summer internships, management internships, and management fellowships. Get your local government career off to a fantastic start by joining us. You can learn more and get eligibility information and apply on our website, dconc.gov. Breastfeeding Basics Support Class. Welcome Babies in Durham Partnership for Children are hosting a free, non-judgmental environment for others to share their experiences, challenges, and stories with the Breastfeeding Basics Support Classes. Classes are held once a month, every second Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. On April 12th, there will be a lactation consultant from Family Connects Durham. To register, please contact Karen Rodriguez at 919-560-7341. Partnerships for a Healthy Durham presentation. Please join the next Partnership for a Healthy Durham meeting on Wednesday, April 12th from 12 to 1:30 p.m. The virtual meeting includes a presentation on 2022 Durham County Community Health Assessment Survey results, trend health data over the past decade, and a panel discussion on the evolution of health in Durham. There is a link for registration that is found on our website. Black Maternal and Infant Health Conference. Durham County government has partnered with Guilford County, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, the North Carolina Division of Public Health, Piedmont, AHEC, and other stakeholders for the Black Maternal and Infant Health Conference on April 14th through 15th at the Conference Center at Guilford Technical Community College, located at 7908 Leaborn Road in Colfax, North Carolina. This is a two-day event that will run from 12 to 8:30 p.m. on Friday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday. The cost for this event is $35. And for additional information and to register online, you can visit piedmontahec.org. Spring football on April 15th at the stadium. Shaw University and North Carolina Central University football teams will host their spring football games on Saturday, April 15th at Durham County Memorial Stadium. Admission is free to each game. For the Bears spring game, the gates open at 9 a.m. and the game starts at 10. You can visit shawbears.com for additional information. And for the Eagles spring game, the gates open at 1 p.m. and the game starts at 2 p.m. You can visit nccueaglepride.com for additional information. Little River Community Complex Fair. The Little River Community Complex Fair is held in the Durham County Memorial Stadium parking lot beginning April 14th through April 23rd. It is open Monday through Friday from 5 to 10 p.m. and Saturday through Sunday from 1 to 11 p.m. Admission is free and so is parking. You can find out additional information at littlerivercommunitycomplex.com. Durham Local Reentry Council Resource Fair. April is Second Chance Month, and the Durham Local Reentry Council will hold a resource fair at the Criminal Justice Resource Center at 326 East Main Street on Wednesday, April 26th from 1:30 to 4:30 p.m. Come out and meet and hear from and about employers, health wellness providers, housing providers, supportive services, food bank, and voting rights. Durham Dementia Community Event. Come out on Saturday, April 29th, to the Durham Dementia Community Event from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. at the Durham County Human Services Building located at 414 East Main Street. The keynote address will be provided by Jay Breinstein, who is living well with early onset dementia. The event is free and lunch is provided, but you must register by calling 984-287-9399. And there's one additional announcement that did not make the agenda. Medication Take Back Durham. It will be held on April 22nd, 2023 from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. It's located in the parking lot across from Discount Tire at 4051 Durham Chapel Hill Boulevard. This is sponsored by Durham County Public Health, Alliance Health, Insight Services, and Durham Tri. Please come out, turn in your unneeded medication, and enjoy community resource information. There are slots to become a vendor. And for additional information, you can email abassmitchell@alliancehealthplan.org. This information will also be added to the web. That concludes the announcements.
Thank you, Ms. Wallace, for reading those announcements for us. There's always more on our website. Are there any other announcements from the board? I'll start with Commissioner Jacobs.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to acknowledge that today is National Youth HIV/AIDS Awareness Day, and to let people know in the community that we have a lot of free resources in Durham County government. Our Durham County Public Health has free screenings. Also, there's access to preventative medication prep through Durham County Public Health, also Lincoln Community Health Center. So we really want to take this moment to encourage people in our community to be aware of HIV/AIDS and that it is a preventable disease. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Burns.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think I'll continue on the public health track that Commissioner Jacobs started on. For those of you who do not know, this week is Black Maternal Health Week. It did not start on Monday in particular. They decided for it to run from the 11th to the 17th because the 11th is actually International Day for Maternal Health and Rights. So they were really intentional this year. And the Wall Street Journal reported that this is the highest, this year's numbers for infant mortality and maternal mortality and morbidity are the highest since 1965. So as we sit in this room right now, the United States is the worst place for women to give birth in first world countries right now, worst place. So I know that we did talk about a conference that will be going on, but I know some of you all, if you are going to be local, there are actually two events. We have two nonprofits right here in Durham. One is called Equity Before Birth. They will be doing a dance party at our very own North Carolina Museum of Life Science. So that dance party will happen on Friday night. And their website is equitybeforebirth.com, and it's a Black Maternal Health Week. It is their annual fundraiser. And again, that is this Friday, April 14th. The other event, and I'm clicking on screens because I want to make sure I give you all the correct information. The other event is being put on by MAME. These are groups that we've actually had here. It's Mobilizing African American Mothers Through Empowerment. They will be doing the ribbon cutting for their wellness center here in Durham, and that is Saturday, April 15th, between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. So again, this is Black Maternal Health Week. We have some really great nonprofits doing some really great work here in Durham. So in the event that you cannot participate in the conference, we have some great stuff going on Friday and or Saturday. So thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Lum.
Thank you, Chair Howerton. One of my announcements is actually just to advertise one of the events that the City of Durham's Neighborhood Improvement Services has been hosting. is actually on the 15th, 22nd, 29th, and May 6th. The City of Durham is hosting quilting classes for immigrants and refugees. They're free classes, and there's actually a stipend for participating, and childcare and transportation can be provided. So for any of our immigrant and refugee community members who want to have a really fun activity for their families, I really recommend you join that. I can send Monica the sign-up link through the city, as well as coming up that we are participating in, as well as the city, is the Kids Voting is hosting a Young People Come Tell Your Elected Officials What Matters to You event on Saturday, April 22nd. And there's going to be food, and some of us, your elected officials, will be there for you to be able to share with us what issues matter to you.
Thank you. Anything else? Thank you all for your announcements. I'd just like to add on around the Black maternal health. I will be attending the conference in Greensboro because I think it's important that we work together statewide to see what other resources that can be brought back to Durham to help to promote and support around this issue. I'm EPA. I was reading some information with around PFAS, and PFAS is an environmental issue that's happening across the country, really, and that talked a lot about what's happening as related to mothers and pregnant mothers. It's a serious case that's occurring, and as I learn more about it, I'll share more about it with my board. But PFAS is something that's really important across the state and across the country that we will be discussing in DC next month. Are there any other, if there are not any more announcements, April is a month that there are so many national days that we could probably spend another hour national days that are in this month and acknowledging them, but don't want to keep people here all night. So we're going to start with our ceremonial items.
Madam
So
Chair?
one is 23-0240. It's a proclamation.
Madam Chair, can we have to approve the minutes first.
I didn't do them. I'm sorry, I didn't.
We have to approve the minutes?
Yeah,
from-
I'm going to do those in a second. Thank you for reminding me, Commissioner Alam. So I get a motion. We have the March 22nd regular minutes, and if there are any edits or additions that need to be added before there's motion? Hearing none, may I get a motion?
Make a motion to approve the March 27th, 2023 regular meeting minute.
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. So the first proclamation is the board is requested to proclaim April 2023 as Second Chance Month in Durham County. And I will ask Commissioner Alam to read the proclamation and then ask Roshana Parker to accept and share a few words.
Durham Board of County Commissioners Proclamation, Second Chance Month 2023. Whereas more than 400 Durham County residents returned to our community from state and federal prisons, and nearly 6,600 cycled through our local detention facility annually. And whereas Durham County government and its Board of County Commissioners have been supporting reentry and rehabilitation efforts in Durham County for more than 30 years. And whereas effective reentry programs offer the chance for a better life to those who return from our nation's correction facilities, and whereas it's up to all of us working together to emphasize the importance of these programs and policies that make such a positive and lasting difference, not only to the individuals served, but to the communities in which they return. And whereas Over the last 13 years, the U.S. Department of Justice has partnered with state, local, and tribal agencies, as well as national organizations, to support hundreds of reentry programs across the country. Yet the demand for effective reentry programs remains high. And whereas, in an effort to highlight the important work of these services, the U.S. Department of Justice has designated April as Second Chance Month and has called upon communities across the country to plan and host appropriate events, ceremonies, and activities in observance. And whereas the Durham County Board of County Commissioners joins the effort to highlight the value of local reentry programs and calls upon the Durham community to support their work. The investment we make today through the resources we dedicate and the enthusiasm we generate will greatly benefit the returning citizens and the overall public safety in Durham County. Now, therefore, I, Brenda A. Howerton, Chair, and on behalf of the Durham Board of County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2023 as Durham County Second Chance Month in Durham County, North Carolina, and urge all citizens to join in recognizing how important it is to help justice-involved individuals positively transition to become productive members of society. This, the 10th day of April, 2023.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Rashana Parker, and I'm the Assistant Director at the Criminal Justice Resource Center. I also have behind me the Director, Gudrun Palmer. I want to first say thank you to Chair Howerton and the board for allowing us to speak tonight. Also, thank you to the County Manager. We are always excited to come and talk about the work that is being done in the community around reentry. CGRC is always willing to lead the effort to work with community partners, faith-based organizations, through our local reentry council and other faith-based agencies and partners, local reentry council members, their organizations are very supportive of this work, and we're excited to be able to acknowledge the work that's being done, not only by our agency, but by others and their dedication and commitment to serving this community around reentry. One of the things I want to focus on this evening is to talk about some of the events that is planned for April. We have a lot of events to acknowledge what is going on. There's a calendar of events that I will leave out in the foyer on the table, but a few highlights. The Local Reentry Council has partnered with several agencies to host a reentry simulation at Duke University on this Friday, April 14th at Duke University from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We will also host a book bag drive. One of the things that we're really focused in on is making sure that individuals can have pride in what they do. And pride in carrying your belongings in a bag that's not torn, dirty, or looks like a trash bag is very important to them and us as well. So what we will do is host a book bag drive on 2 days in April. We will do it on April 18th from 8:30 to 4 at CGRC, and also on Friday, April 21st from 8:30 to 4 p.m. So if you have new or gently used bags that you want to drop off to be a part of that bag drive, please make sure to bring your donations and drop them off. And I have flyers about the book bag drive that I'll also leave in the foyer with the calendar. On the 19th, we will host a supportive services roundtable to allow community partners that have resources that they want to dedicate and bring to the table to work with the local reentry council and CGRC as a whole to be able to come and talk to us about what those resources are and how they can help. There are also events being hosted by other community partners. On the 25th of April, the Religious Coalition for a Nonviolent Durham will host their annual homecoming celebration from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. We will also have a resource fair on April the 26th at CGRC that will allow individuals to network and find out about valuable resources in the community. And then also there is a panel discussion, Life After Incarceration, that will be held at Lyon Park on the 26th from 6 p.m. to 7:30. And the last event that's noted on the calendar is the Just Us Monologues that will be hosted at the Rubenstein Center at Duke University at 6 p.m. So all of these events are listed on the calendar that will be on the table in the foyer, as well as a flyer about the book bag drive. So again, we thank you for your time and attention to this, and we are so excited to have April be proclaimed Second Chance Month. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anything from you, Gudrun? Nurse, back to you. Comments, questions, Commissioner Jacobs?
I just want to say thank you to you, Roshana, to Gudrun, to all of your staff for the incredible work that you do, which I think is reflected in such a amazing calendar of different events throughout the community, partnering with so many different organizations and people is really reflective of the depth of what you do in the community. So I just want to thank you for that. And also just to say that Durham County, we have adopted Ban the Box. It's been a long time. I don't even know how long it's been, but this is something that, you know, we really encourage all employers to adopt the practice of Ban the Box. And this is a very concrete way that you can help give people in our community a second chance by doing that. And also, thank you for telling us about the book bag that people, it's a way that people can also concretely help out with a really nice, dignified bag that people can use as they restart their life in our community. So thank you.
I'll say ditto to Commissioner Jacobs' comments, but also adding in, I see several members of our CJRC board. I would just like them to have the opportunity to raise their hand to be recognized for all of the work that the CJRC board does to make sure that we have the resources and coming and advocating to our board to fund those resources and make sure that we're supporting individuals as they re-enter and have everything they need to be contributing members to society and be able to support their own families every single day.
Else? Commissioner Long? Commissioner Burns?
I'm good. I know my name.
No,
Really,
I'm
really
looking in
quick
your
to everyone.
direction.
Thank you all so much
So-
for everything that you all do. I was at two community meetings this weekend, and one of the things, you know, everybody's arguing in the room, like, why are these nonprofits telling us what to do? Why are people afraid to help their own people? Why won't people help their own people? Yeah, sometimes you just don't know how, right? I see some church members here. I see some community members here. I know. I think, coming out of pandemic, want to, you know, lift as we climb and help as many people as we can. And we might not know how to do it. You see these two women over here, they didn't just make up this calendar because they wanted to come in here and make up a calendar to look good in front of us. These are opportunities for you to figure out how you can help in your community. This historic women board that's sitting in front of you made a monumental investment a couple of months back to the Haiti Reborn Justice Movement. $2 million to partner with other funding so folks, when they get out, we can work on their job training, make sure that they're re-skilled so they can go find work. We do the same thing with the Bulls Initiative. Everybody in here doesn't have a whole team of people, a staff of 2,000, public health folks, folks that work at CJRC, but you know what, you can review a resume, you can offer somebody a job, you can offer somebody opportunity, you can donate one of these really nice suits that we see people in. So I personally want to say thank you to them, but I want to do something that I see Mayor O'Neill do all the time. You know, people always say, what are we going to do? This is a full room tonight because we have a lot of proclamations. What I hope is that this encourages you to go out and want to do something else, because these folks come to this center because they want to do better. And I think that we can help them do better if we all work together at it. And it doesn't take a board. One person in here donating a suit is the difference between somebody feeling comfortable enough to go to a job interview. And that's all I got to say about that. So give somebody a second chance this month.
Anything else? Anna, Gudrun, your team, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're doing what I call God's work.
Thank you so much to you and the board for all of your support.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, our next proclamation is 230241, a resolution honoring Vernon Omer Taylor. His lifetime work as a passionate, generous, and highly respected advocate, housing provider, and community leader. And I'm going to ask Commissioner Carter if he will read this resolution for us.
Yes, it would be an honor to read this resolution, which goes along so nicely with the proclamation that we just read about those in our community who work so hard to give second chances to those who are returning. Durham Board of County Commissioners Resolution, Vernon Omar Taylor. Whereas on Thursday, February 16th, 2023, the Durham community lost a valued member and leader with the death of Vernon Omar Taylor, a devoted husband to his wife Karen Henria and a proud father. And whereas Omar Taylor was born and raised in East Orange, New Jersey, where he worked as a residential case manager at Housing Works, developing his lifelong passion for quality housing, aiding those suffering from homelessness, incarceration, mental health issues, and chronic disease and addiction, moving to Durham in 2001. And whereas Omar was a local housing provider and the leader of Just a Clean House Incorporated, a nonprofit organization that has provided sober living for formerly incarcerated individuals and individuals in recovery since 2005, creating a transitional housing model based on a 12-step philosophy and family style of residential living. And whereas Omar Taylor's organization has been the vendor managing the Criminal Justice Resource Center's transitional housing since 2009, assisting clients to maintain sobriety while developing their skills to transition into more permanent housing placement. And whereas Omar provided clean, safe, and sober living for thousands of Durham residents in the last 18 years, working with and receiving referrals from various community agencies, always willing to meet with people in need of housing, often with little notice. And whereas Omar never let his favorite holiday, Christmas, pass without an annual Christmas celebration at which each house resident received a personal gift, and making sure all residents had what they needed throughout the year. And whereas, beginning in 2014, Omar served on the Durham Criminal Justice Advisory Committee and the Durham Local Reentry Council, where he advocated and worked tirelessly to develop safe and affordable housing for justice-involved individuals in Durham, North Carolina. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the Durham County Board of Commissioners, do hereby resolve to honor Vernon Omar Taylor for his lifelong work as a passionate, generous, and highly respected advocate, community leader, and visionary. This, the 10th day of April 2023, places for all of our signatures.
Thank you, Commissioners. My name's Robin Heath. I'm the Criminal Justice Program Manager at the Criminal Justice Resource Center, and I've worked hand in hand with Omar for the last 18 years of providing housing for people that came through the Criminal Justice Resource Center. It is very fitting that he be honored in Second Chance Month. Omar was not just a man of second chances, but often of third and fourth chances. He was always willing to give somebody a chance, for another chance to have somewhere clean to stay, somewhere safe, somewhere to lay their head at night. And he was often called upon to hear a story, to find out, like, could he provide an opportunity for someone who had like an odd situation. And we would call him, a lot of providers would. We'd call him, we'd be like, hey, I've got an odd situation. And we'd tell him a story, and he'd be like, well, I think I'd like to meet him. And somehow, miraculously, he was never more than 10 minutes away. He could always make it in 10 minutes to come see us, to sit down, and way more times than not, he would find a way to work them in. If he had a bed available, he would give them that shot, and give them a chance, whether it was their first chance, second chance, third chance. He gave them so many chances. But Omar was not a person about ceremony or recognition. That was not who Omar was. So I'm going to keep it short and leave that there. But I do want to recognize tonight here with us is Karen, his wife, and if she will, please stand. And he always recognized her as being the success behind the business of Just a Clean House, the true business behind running that organization. He never spoke about the organization without recognizing her as that. And also his Just a Clean House staff, if they will stand. A very loyal and dependable group, most of which have never missed a day of work. And he always talked about what a zero tolerance for error he had. Zero tolerance. But they continue to show up and showed immense respect for him day in and day out. And I believe if you look around, you'll find a huge group of community supporters and partners that have come to show their respect for him as well. So if those partners will stand. So, Omar, your mission and service will continue to live on through us forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Comments, questions from the board? Carter?
I'll just quickly add an additional thank you from the board to all the partners in the audience who have helped make Just a Clean House possible and are continuing to do that work. And Karen, thank you so much. And I apologize if I mispronounced your name. I hope I did not. But thank you so much for being here and for supporting Omar in his critical work. Everybody certainly knows that housing is the most foundational determinant probably of success for all of us. And thank you all for working so hard to address that for our residents.
Yeah. And I'll just say ditto, ditto, ditto. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for the work they've done thus far and the work that out of who he was, that will continue to be done. So thank you.
I had one quick question, Madam Chair. I know we're going to be giving them a copy of the resolution. Would we, correct, is that who's getting a copy of the resolution, or will we be making one and also presenting one to his lovely wife?
That's
Okay, making sure we still got you. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, just one, if I may.
Sure.
Good evening, Commissioners. We just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for taking time to honor Omar. He's done so much for our organization, for our clients, and absolutely for this community. And I think the way he approached serving individuals coming, needing a second chance or needing a safe place to stay, really set the standard and set the bar for other individuals or organizations that provide housing. It was amazing how well run and well organized and nice his places were, and it truly demonstrated how he saw other people and how he treated them with dignity and the places he provided. So, and I know Karen and his staff will continue to forward his mission, and we look forward to working with all of them in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Monica, do you, can we make sure that we get a copy of the resolution?
Yes.
To the family? Yeah, you get it to Gudrun and then to the family. Thank you. All right. Moving on, we have another proclamation, 230208, National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. Board is requested to proclaim the week of April 10th, 2023 as National Public Telecommunications Week. And if we can just hold out for a minute. Okay. So this proclamation is to celebrate National Public Safety Telecommunications Week and to honor the men and women of the Durham County Sheriff's Office who are our true first responders as telecommunicators. And Commissioner Jacobs will read the proclamation, and then we'll ask Denise Vaughn Pratt, Communications Manager, to accept and share a few words.
Durham Board of County Commissioners Proclamation, National Public Safety Communications Week 2023. Whereas National Public Safety Communications Week is held annually during the second week of April to honor telecommunications personnel for their commitment, service, and sacrifice. And whereas this week is a time to celebrate and thank telecommunicators across this county, state, and nation who serve our communities and citizens 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas telecommunicators are trained to play a critical part in emergency response as the first link in the chain of first responders. And whereas telecommunicators must maintain a state certification and receive many hours of training in other areas such as CIT, CPR, and emergency operations. And whereas telecommunicators must handle stressful situations while maintaining a calm voice on the telephone and radio and routinely toggling between several calls at the same time. And whereas the public safety telecommunicators with the Durham County Sheriff's Office have contributed substantially to the safety and welfare of our citizens, now, therefore, I, Brenda A. Howerton, Chair, and on behalf of the Durham Board of County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim April 9th through 15th, 2023, as National Public Safety Communications Week in Durham County, North Carolina, this the 10th day of April, 2023.
Thank you. My name is Denise Vaughn Pratt. I am the Communications Manager for the Durham County Sheriff's Office Communications Center. This week, April the 9th through the 15th, is set aside as a time to express thanks and appreciation for public safety telecommunicators, not only in Durham County, but across the country. We thank you tonight for honoring the telecommunicators with the Durham County Sheriff's Office with this proclamation. During the pandemic and during inclement weather conditions, telecommunicators do not have the option to work from home or to report to work on delayed operations time. Telecommunicators serve 24-hour days, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, the same as firefighters, law enforcement officers, and medical service personnel. Yet, they are not classified as first responders. Yet they are the true first responders to arrive on the scene by taking that first phone call or that text. Telecommunicators serve as a lifeline to the public during uncertain times. They are the first line of communication between the public and our first responders. Tonight, we thank them and honor them for their service and dedication, and we also thank their families for the sacrifice they also make. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And
I have
any of your other team members want to say something? No?
Madam Chair.
Oh, you're over on this side.
I'm over here.
Okay. Chair Burkhead?
The communicators do a lot of talking all the time, but this is one time they're going to be quiet. I could not have said it better than Ms. Denise Pratt just articulated. These individuals are truly the front line, the first responders, the essential personnel, the backbone of how we serve this county day in and day out. I am forever grateful for the job they do. There are times I'm listening to the radio and the composure and the demeanor and the dissemination of information is always spot on. So much so that I often try to respond, and they'll call me down and say, you know, somebody else will handle it, other units are on the way. They listen to everything on the radio. So if I come on the radio as the sheriff, they know it. And they know how to maneuver and move the pieces around to get the job done and deliver life-saving communication to our deputies in the field and others. So my hat's off to the job that they do. I truly appreciate it, and thank you to the Board of Commissioners for this resolution on this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff Burkhead. Commissioners? Commissioner? I'll start with Commissioner Burns.
Mine is actually really quick. It's not even from a board space. It is from a resident space. I truly, truly thank each and every one of you that is on the other end of the phone calls that I have to make my family members. I've been all over the state, all over this country. It's not fun calling 911. I've never had an issue calling 911, and I got the phone records to prove it. That I've had to call a bunch of times, and I don't know what the call was before you had me. The call before you got on the phone with me could have been somebody who had a heart attack, and you trying to talk the other person and doing chest compressions. It could have been a suicide, and then I get on the phone, and y'all are just as calm as can be, and 90% of the time I'm calm. It's the 10. I done had 10% why I'm not the calmest, but I almost have to echo the sentiments. My sister ain't here tonight, so she'll tell y'all if I'm lying. So I'm gonna say about 90% of the time I'm calm, not my mama. But I just, from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you. I've been there with family members when they couldn't breathe, and you all just ask the most common questions, lift the head, lay the person down. You stay on the phone as long as you can, and then sometimes you can, sometimes you got to get off. But the sense of comfort that you give has calmed me down many a days. And I just want to personally say, not just as your county commissioner, but as a tax-paying resident of Durham who personally feels like you've saved many people in my family, I say thank you from the bottom of my heart. So thank you.
I think Commissioner Burns stated it so eloquently that, each one of us in this room, I'm sure, at one point in our life has had to make that very difficult call to 911. And so all of you are touching all 330-some thousand residents here in Durham County. And so there's not really many words that we can say to show that appreciation to you. I'm really grateful to you and as a commissioner, as well as a person and resident of this county, for all of the work and service you do, especially without even that recognition as a first responder when you are the first responders to these situations. So thank you so much for all of your service and work to Durham County.
Well, we all thank you. Durham County thanks you for the work that you do. And I have one question for you. Are you doing something to take care of yourselves? That's important. Thank you again.
Who gets to decide who is officially a first responder or not? I mean,
Do what?
clearly they're the first responders. I'm just wondering who makes that designation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Commissioner Carter, that's an excellent question, and I can tell you the conversation has been going on at the state level for a number of years. The work that Ms. Pratt has done in that space has moved the needle just a bit. I am optimistic that as a member of the Governor's Crime Commission, I'm going to push harder for that designation because clearly it is worthy. And so I'm hoping that over the next year or two, as things transition in Raleigh, we'll be able to designate the telecommunicators as first responder, and they get the benefits and the just due so deserving. So we're working on that. Yeah.
Okay.
So our next item is 230209, and that is also proclamation April 2023 Fair Housing Month. And the board is requested to proclaim April 2023 as Fair Housing Month in Durham County. And I will ask Commissioner Burns if she will read this proclamation.
Proclamation, Fair Housing Month 2023. Whereas the Fair Housing Act enacted on April 11, 1968, enshrined into federal law the goal of eliminating racial segregation and ending housing discrimination in the United States. And whereas the Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, religion, sex, familial status, national origin, and disability, and commits recipients of federal funding to affirmatively further fair housing in their communities. And whereas this year marks the commemoration of the 55th anniversary of the passing of the Fair Housing Act, the landmark civil rights law signed by President Lyndon B. Johnson. And whereas more than 55 years after the passage of the act, making discrimination in housing transitions unlawful, housing injustice persists as many communities remain segregated, and the need to protect those vulnerable to inequities continues. And whereas Durham County is committed to the mission and intent of Congress to provide fair and equal housing opportunities for all, and whereas our social fabric, the economy, health, and environment are strengthened in diverse, inclusive communities, and whereas acts of housing discrimination and barriers to equal housing opportunity are unacceptable to a common sense of decency and fairness. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Brenda Howerton, Chair of the Durham Board of County Commissioners, and on behalf of the Durham Board of County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim April 2023 as Fair Housing Month in Durham County, North Carolina. Durham is as an inclusive community committed to fair housing and to promoting appropriate activities by private and public entities to provide and advocate for equal housing opportunities for all residents and prospective residents of Durham County. This, the 10th day of April 2023.
Thank you, Commissioner Burns. We have Ms. Burns to speak with us.
Yes, good evening, Chair Howerton and the Durham County Board of Commissioners. My name is Cindy Burns. I am the president of the Durham Regional Association of Realtors. And with me is Sharon Sunkel. She is our chair of the DEI committee. On behalf of our association, the realtors, and all of our members, we want to thank you for declaring April Fair Housing Month. Every American has the right to fair housing, the right to live where they choose, the right to raise a family, and the ability to own a home. And a home represents many things. It represents family, community, but ultimately, it's where the heart beats for all of us. And as realtors, we completely support fair housing, and we are sworn to uphold a code of ethics that bounds us to a higher standard for fairness. And it is our mission to have housing options available for all so that the dream of home ownership can become a reality and not just a dream. So we thank you so much as a representative for realtors in Durham County that work with so many clients looking for that dream home. And we're here to help you. And we thank you for trusting us in the process and for making awareness of fair housing throughout the entire process. Thank you.
Thank you. First comment, I'd like to have some. Oh, Mr. Jacobs.
I just want to thank the Durham Regional Association of Realtors for making this a priority to lift this up and to be speaking about this issue. I think it is really important. Unfortunately, we know that this is still something that is aspirational because of the history of structural racism in our country, that we still have a lot that we're battling, and even issues like access to a mortgage and to having access to the funds for buying a home. We know that there is not always happening in an equitable manner. And so this is still a challenge. We know what's the impact of the pandemic on home ownership, and again has disproportionately affected Black homeowners. So this is something we have to keep working on together. So I appreciate the association being aware of the challenges and trying to be part of the solution, because it is something that we all have to dedicate ourselves to as a community. And I'll just say, from the county's perspective, we're very focused on equitably maintaining home ownership, and that's one reason we have a low-income homeowner grant program to try to keep people in their homes, especially our seniors and those who are on fixed incomes. And I know we're going to be looking at other ways that we can help with our ARPA funding to help maintain home ownership equitably in our community. But thank you again.
And thank you so much for just acknowledging what's going on in our county and our country around fair housing. Thank you for being here. Okay, we have another resolution, Commissioners. This one, 230252, acknowledging service of Patrick Hanna, RDU Airport Member Chair. The board is requested to accept the resolution acknowledging the service of Patrick Hanna. Patrick Hanna has represented Durham County on the Raleigh-Durham Airport Authority Board since 2015 and has served as chairman of the board for the last 2 years. During his tenure as chairman, he helped the airport successfully navigate the impacts of COVID-19 global health pandemic and chart its path to recovery. Hannah managed the development of the authority's 2022-2026 strategic plan, which provides the strategic direction, priorities, and management strategies for the authority over the next 5 years. Other major accomplishments during his chairmanship include board approval of the succession operator model, which is intended to increase revenue for RDU and provide more opportunities to small and diverse businesses by seeking to reduce barriers for those interested in doing business at the airport, a new air service incentive program, and lure new airlines and routes to RDU, including the introduction of Iceland. What is that? Rimas? You have to help me out with that. In other words, there's airways that you can announce them, Patrick, when you get to the podium. Strong financial stewardship with Fitch Ratings and Moody's, reaffirming the management and a strong recovery in passenger traffic, and adoption of an owner-controlled insurance program for major capital construction projects that removes a barrier for small businesses to work with the authority. So that's in all of the writing, and then I will read the proclamation. The resolution says this: Durham County Board of Commissioners resolution, recognition of the service Patrick D. Hanna as the Raleigh-Durham Airport Authority member and chairman, 20
2015 to 2023. Whereas Patrick Hanna has represented Durham County on the Raleigh-Durham Airport Authority Board since 2015 and has served as chairman of the board since 2021. During his tenure as chairman, he helped the airport successfully navigate the impacts of COVID-19 global health pandemic and chart its path to recovery. And whereas Hannah managed the development of the authority's 2026 strategic plan, which provides strategic direction, priority, and management strategies for the authority over the next 5 years. And whereas during his chairmanship, the board approved the concession operator model, which is intended to increase revenue for RDU and provide more opportunity to small and diverse businesses by seeking to reduce barriers for those interested in doing business at the airport. Some of this may be a little redundant, but whereas Hannah is credited with providing strong financial stewardship with Fitch Ratings and Moody's reaffirming the airport's authority's AAA and AA3 rating, respectively, in 2022, citing careful financial management and a strong recovery in passenger traffic. And whereas under his leadership, the airport adopted an owner-controlled insurance program for major capital construction projects that removes a barrier for small businesses to work with the authority, and whereas his vision resulted in a new air service incentive program that lured new airlines and routes to RDU. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the members of the Board of County Commissioners, do by resolve that Patrick D. Hanna be recognized for his tireless service and dedication to the Raleigh-Durham Airport Authority as a member and chairperson from 2015 to 2023. County Commissioner.
I just want to say, as the person who was honored to work with the Airport Authority to draft that leadership really is shown not when things are going great, but when there is a crisis. And as a Durham County resident and someone who flies, COVID-19 was a crisis for that industry, and I was honored to see my colleague Patrick Hanna lead the Airport Authority during that time. And now,
Kimberly, would you tell people who you are?
yeah, right. I'm Kimberly Moore, Durham resident first and foremost, but I'm also the Civic Engagement Director for U.S. House of Congress District 2. So we were very appreciative of his leadership in providing funding and just helping to move the Airport Authority forward.
Thank you.
And I'm going to introduce Tatum's dad, Patrick Hanna.
Thank you, Dr. Moore. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm so thrilled to be here with you tonight. We've had an amazing 8 years together. We've had a lot of conversations, but it's truly been my honor representing Durham County on the Raleigh-Durham Airport Authority. It's hard to believe it's been 8 years. And seeing where we've come from 14 million passengers a year pre-pandemic to having all airlines on the ground during the pandemic to coming back where we are today with record travel is truly extraordinary. We have an amazing airport staff. They're first class. And one of the things we try to do is make sure we listen to the community as they are stakeholders in our community. And so we really are grateful for the airport. But I'm grateful for you. Thank you for your confidence. Thank you for this recognition. Chair Howerton, Commissioner Burns, Commissioner Jacobs, Commissioner Carter, Commissioner Alam, you all do an amazing job representing our city. And Dr. King once said that one of the most important things in life is to think about what are you doing for others. And that's what you all do each and every day for Durham. coming in here is a thankless job. Commissioner Jacobs joked with me when I came in, she said, all these people are here for you, and they're all gone now. So I kind of was surprised, but it definitely is a testament to this community. But the 4 people that are here today, I did keep 4 people here. I've got to get cake and ice cream. So, but without their support, I wouldn't be able to serve in this capacity. But my wife, Tequila, my daughter, Tatum, my son, William, he's got his device, and my mother, Linda's visiting from Arkansas, and so she's gotten a chance to see, why is your picture up in the airport? I said, well, these are the elected officials that gave me this opportunity. So I'm honored to have served as your representative. I'm grateful for each and every one of you, and the future is bright for Durham. So please continue to do what you do, and thank you for all you do for us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Patrick, and it's really so nice to have your whole family here. We know that you sacrifice a lot with your work, and then also what you do for the community, and that your family doesn't always get to see you. So it's such a pleasure, for me personally, to see you here with your kids and your mom and your wife. So I know it takes the whole team. I really want to thank you for your leadership, of being a part of the board and then being the chair. I have really appreciated, as Kimberly Moore mentioned, during the pandemic. It was amazing to me that you all did not lay off anybody during the pandemic, and how everybody was really chipping in, doing all kinds of jobs around the airport to keep things going, and also the way you have brought in local businesses, to the airport. I'm there a lot, and I'm always so proud of our airport, even if they're flying all over the country and out of the country, and I always feel so proud when I come back. It's an economic driver for our community, and I'm really excited to fly Icelandic Air this summer to get to Europe and be able to stop in Reykjavik. But it's just, again, thank you for, you're always so calm. We know that there's lots of things that the airport has to juggle, and a lot of things that you've had to juggle, and I've always really appreciated your calmness, with anything that comes before you. So again, thank you. I'm grateful to you.
How you doing, Patrick?
Good to see you, Commissioner.
Listen. I can echo everything that Commissioner Jacob said, but I too just want to say thank you. He did not start working with us. Well, I speak for me. Day after the primary, he's like, okay, let me educate you about the airport. I got the text message to prove it. And the first thing I said, who is this and who gave you my phone number? But he set me down to help me understand what was going on with the airport, because we were going into crazy times and we were getting emails. And in my past job, I often would go to the meetings, but he wanted us to be ready. I'm just so happy that you were still there to helm that ship, to get us well, I won't say all the great stuff that I know you have. Your family, he brags on you all so much. We can be talking about this huge investment. He'll say, let me show you what the kids did. So his enthusiasm is transferable from that airport to when he talks about his family. I've spoken to your board members. You have been very intentional about your succession planning and making sure that folks have equal say, equal opportunity to get in leadership. That is not something that happens in Durham. We all know that. And people should look at you for that example. I'm thankful that, before we get a barrage of emails, we might get 3,000 emails. Some of y'all don't know that. Patrick is literally either emailing or on the phone saying, hey, this is about to come. Let me explain it to you. And it's the most objective thing. He does not take sides, because there's some things we're going to agree on or not agree on. But the fact that you've taken the time to educate this young elected, I'm never going to forget that. And I hope that we can continue to support you. And thank you for sacrificing time away from your family and your work, because this is not a paid position, to make sure that we can get millions of people in and out of here every day. We owe a great debt to you, sir. And I just say, thank you.
Thank you.
Carter and Commissioner Long.
Well, I think that the resolution left out an important whereas clause, and it's one that would say something like, and whereas Patrick Hanna remains kind and gracious even when new Commissioner Carter, at their meeting when she was going to learn about the airport, spills coffee all over him and his iPad. Like one of my very first meetings as a commissioner.
That's our secret. We're not supposed to share that.
But it could have been with a nicer, kinder, more gracious, leader, and volunteer for our community. And we really appreciate you. And I always enjoy having meetings with you and hearing about your family. I will echo what Naima Sheena said. You're always so proud to talk about them, and it's fun to listen.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And your smiling face looks great at the airport.
I think there needs to also be a whereas about your family because everyone is bringing them up. And that was actually going to be my comment too of just, yeah, thank you so much for your service, but also just recognizing the sacrifice your family has to make in this role because it is a big role. It's a huge, major airport that even just a few weeks ago, I texted you if we could chat because I had some questions. And within like 5 minutes, you called me up and you're like, hey, Commissioner Lam, I'm driving with my family on spring break, so you're going to hear the kids in the back. But you took that time on that road trip with your family to sit there and explain to me and answer the questions that I have. So thank you so much for doing that, even in your family time. And thank you to your family for being so understanding and letting us have that conversation. I hope you get your ice cream. And I am going to be flying on Thursday, so I also look forward to hearing your voice over the airport speakers.
Thank you, Commissioner.
So, Mrs. Hannah, I just want to say thank you. Thank you and thank you. Because you have to put up with a lot. So, and I won't go into any detail. I'm just going to say thank you. Patrick, you do a wonderful, great job. And to your mom that's here, you've raised an absolutely wonderful son. Thank you for being here. So, we don't want you to get too big ahead. We just want you to know that we appreciate the work that you do and the sacrifices that you do.
I'm grateful. I appreciate it.
So thank you.
Thank you so much.
We have one more resolution. Well, this is a proclamation. Commissioners, 230261, 2023 National County Government Month. The board is requested to proclaim April 2023 as National County Government Month in Durham County. And I've asked Commissioner Jacobs if she will read the proclamation, and then ask Deborah Craig Ray, our Chief Communications Manager, to accept and share a few words.
Yes, last but not least,
Yeah.
very important proclamation. The Durham Board of County Commissioners proclamation, National County Government Month 2023. Whereas the nation's 3,069 counties serving more than 330 million Americans provide essential services to create healthy, safe, and vibrant communities. And whereas counties fulfill a vast range of responsibilities and deliver services that touch nearly every aspect of our residents' lives. And whereas Durham County and all counties take pride in our responsibility to protect and enhance the health, well-being, and safety of our residents in efficient and cost-effective ways. And whereas under the leadership of the National Association of Counties President Denise Winfrey, NACO is demonstrating how counties rise, demonstrating exemplary resiliency, inclusion, solvency, and empowerment. And whereas each year since 1991, the National Association of Counties has encouraged counties across the country to elevate awareness of county responsibilities, programs, and services. And whereas this year's celebratory activities will include various events that elevate Durham County's work and educate citizens on the importance of Durham County government. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Brenda Howerton, Chair, and on behalf of the Durham Board of County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim April 2023 as National County Government Month. In Durham County, North Carolina, we encourage all county officials, employees, schools, and residents to participate in county government celebration activities this 10th day of April 2023. And I cannot resist sharing that a few weeks ago when I had the pleasure to actually speak directly to the President of the United States, the first thing he said to me when I told him that I was a Durham County Commissioner, he said, I was a county commissioner. And he really spoke very fondly about county government and his roots as a county commissioner. And frankly, I think that is one of the reasons that he is such a good president, is because he started out in county government.
Deborah?
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, Chair Howerton, Vice Chair Jacobs, Commissioner Burns, Alon and Carter, Manager Sewell, and Attorney Andrews. It is my honor to stand before you today to talk about County Government Month. When you were talking about the beginning of it in 1991, I was just kind of reflecting on the various things that we have done to elevate this important observance over the years. Even during the pandemic, we managed to continue to lift the message that it is important. The services that counties provide throughout our nation is so important. This year, we have already begun to publicize County Government Month. We actually have a trivia contest that we started last week. The winners of these trivia questions will receive a gift card from Rise Biscuit Place. I thought that was appropriate because our slogan this year is Rise. We are also working with our health department because on April 19th, that is Public Health Day within County Government Month. And so we have certain events that are going forward, and we are giving support to our health department for that. We are also trying to focus on our young people, and I'm very happy to say we have 2 events that are coming up. Next Monday, several of you are participating in a breakfast where we are trying to elevate and celebrate our next generation of women leaders. And so we've invited some young ladies in, and we're going to have a breakfast and just have you network with them and help them understand the importance of setting goals and moving forward, and certainly considering working with counties as they go forward. We also have an event that's later in the month where we're bringing in young men, Thomas Mentor Leadership Academy being one of them. They will be speaking with some of our senior executive male leaders, also helping to elevate the work that we do as a county government, and just trying to begin to be missionaries to get some of these young people interested in working for county government. They are smart, they have goals. We want them to focus on us as well. So this is our chance to do some missionary work. And also, we are going to celebrate our employees. Next week, we're doing what we call Spirit Week. And so we're going to have events to really highlight our employees. They will be surprised and pleased, I'm sure, with what we bring forward, because it's important to celebrate everyone who works for county government. Certainly, it's passionate work. I think you have to have a certain spirit to work for county governments, and I'm just so proud to be one of your employees. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Deborah, and thank you. I just got to get it out. Thank you so much for you and your team for bringing in our young people so that we get an opportunity to interact with them about what it is that we do. And, and I've done this before, and, they don't mind asking you the tough questions.
yes.
So I'm really, really looking forward to that. So thanks a lot. Yeah. Commissioners, comments, questions? Right. Commissioner Jacobs?
Sounds like you've got some great events planned. Thank you, Deborah. And I also just want to acknowledge the county manager for taking and running with the internship program. I am just so excited about it. It was something that was discussed. I think I remember Commissioner Alam mentioning it. It's come up in different conversations about creating a pipeline for our young people. And next thing I know, you're out there posting an internship for high school students, for college students, for other adults considering different careers. So thank you for doing that.
No other comments or questions? Thank you again, Deborah.
My pleasure.
Okay, we are down to our consent agenda, commissioners, and we have many items. We have 23 items in the consent agenda. Are there any to be pulled? Any comments or questions? Hearing none, I will ask for a motion. These are items that have been discussed by the board, and I will ask for a motion for approval.
Madam Chair. Second.
Moved. Carter, who was it second by? Burns. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved unanimously. Okay, we are down to a public hearing. Okay, let's see, we've got a public hearing. So 220216, a public hearing to adopt the revised county stormwater ordinance. The board is requested to conduct a public hearing and receive public comments on the revised county stormwater ordinance and to adopt the revised county stormwater ordinance. We have Ryan Eves, Stormwater and Erosion Control Division Manager, here to discuss this item. Ryan?
Thank you, Chair, and good evening, Commissioners. Ryan Eves, Division Manager for Stormwater and Erosion Control. I have Mackenzie Bradshaw with me as well, our Stormwater Manager. This is a public hearing to officially adopt the stormwater ordinance that we presented to you back in your March 6th work session. It's an update to our ordinance. A lot of the update is related to just a reorganization, clarification to make our ordinance easier for use by both the engineering firms and those that submit plans to us, as well as staff internally. It is also part of the requirements for our Neuse River nutrient management rules and the local program associated with that is must be adopted prior to May 1st. And so we're getting this in order to make sure we meet the state's requirements. The public hearing has been advertised in the News and Observer for the past 2 weeks, and so it's been adequately advertised, and all we ask is that you hold the public hearing and then hopefully vote to adopt the ordinance. Mackenzie and I are here if you have questions on any of the updates, or if anyone has any questions.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any questions for staff? Commissioner Jacobs?
Yeah, Ryan, could you just elaborate a little bit because when I read over the ordinance, I know I'm kind of asking a not very intelligent question here, but I did have trouble. I know that when you presented this to us in the PowerPoint, and there was a lot of focus on the ability to do green infrastructure and also low impact development, and I know that's a lot of what we're trying to kind of incorporate here. Could you explain, like, just you can just give one or two examples of how this, as compared to before, is going to make allowances for some of those innovations? Because I honestly, when I read over the ordinance, I was like, okay, how am I seeing this implemented? What was presented before? So if you could just help me understand that a little bit more, that would be
Sure.
great.
So
Thank you.
one thing that we added in for every watershed, so if you saw, we kind of split it up with the requirements between the Falls, the Neuse, and the Jordan. So we added specifically in there kind of as the first section of each of those basin requirements. It starts off with low impact development. And essentially what happens is if someone brings in a design for low impact development, this new ordinance clarifies that they then don't have to proceed with further calculations for stormwater control measures and further infrastructure on the site. So that essentially is the incentive, where if you're either under a density threshold or you're doing low impact design, you satisfy the requirements of the rules.
Okay, that makes sense to me now, because I saw in the ordinance where you were laying out, that scenario that you just use natural vegetation or swales or whatever. Okay, got it. All right, now that's that's helpful to me.
It is worth pointing out really quickly that we are somewhat limited in what we can actually require. And so what we're trying to do with this ordinance is incentivize the use of low impact development and green stormwater.
Are there anyone signed up or on Zoom to speak?
No, ma'am, no one has signed up, and we have no one with their hands raised on Zoom.
I think I did that a little bit. I didn't, wait a minute, let me go back a minute. I didn't open, I didn't open the public hearing. Okay, let me step back a minute. Open the public hearing and then ask if there's anybody to speak.
No one has signed up to speak.
Just for the public record, make sure we do it correctly. Nobody's to speak. So bring it back to the board. And if there are no other questions from the board, I'll ask for a motion.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the revised county stormwater ordinance.
Been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. Is there any other business before the board? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion for adjourn.
I'd make a motion to adjourn, but also just want to say a quick thank you to the stormwater staff for your great work bringing that forward to us. Thank you. But motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved in second.
Madam
We
Chair?
are adjourned.
Oh, good question. Just wondering if the public hearing was closed after it was opened.
I'm sorry?
Was the public hearing closed after if it was opened?
Yes.
It was? Okay.
We adjourn.